Now this was one of the first tanks I ever bought, one of. I mean, probably about number 4, I don't know exactly. It was nearly 6 years ago as well, so hopefully it still like holds water. Fun story, when I first started getting into the hobby, barely had any spare money at the end of like the month, and I went and bought one of these. It was just when I sort of started filming everything as well, and I put rocks in the bottom, instantly cracked it, and I had to go and buy another one. And Kate was not happy about that, my wife, but you know, it kind of led to all of this, so it's all good, right? Now I've cleared a perfect little spot for it here. Took out some scapes that I weren't massively, you know, fond of. Just thought we could do something better. Fits perfect. And I should probably fill this up before we do anything else, because that would be really bad if I just spent ages making a cool scape that just leaks out everywhere. Right, as we all know, I'm massively impatient. Bottom's all sealed, good enough for me. Although all that pearl we did at the top is annoying me, so I'm going to trim that. And that red thing, the extension lead and all the electrics there is annoying me, so I'm going to tuck that away as well. There we go, trimmed the surface, tidied up the wiring. Let's say we get some lighting on this tank, looking a bit dreary. And I'm going to go for the same light, or 2 of them that I've got on my Betta tank here. Lights everything up really well. Now this is actually quite high up on this tank, because obviously it's full height. But yeah, great little lights from Lumini. I use them quite a lot actually. This is the older version, in fact. I've got the newer versions of this. Yes, here they are. Lumini Asta 20. Now it's quite good. You get a remote with it, which I won't use because the controls are on this little bit, which is my absolute favourite. It never fails, it always works. You've got your gooseneck, you've got your light obviously, plug, and then the little thingy for going on the edge of the aquarium. Everything we need. So I have to say, these lights are very, very good for the price of them. They're very budget. I think these were around £50 or $70 each, obviously. But what I like about them, look, if we look down here, hopefully we can see actually, I'm not sure if we will be able to. Probably not picking it up, but there's a red LED, there's a blue LED, there's a green LED, then there's lots of whites. So you're getting full RGB colouring. And like I say, I'm not a fan of the whole apps thing and everything like that. It does my head in. Sometimes it disconnects randomly and you can't turn your lights on and off and that. I just like having a switch at the back. Absolutely perfect. So for me, these are ideal. I'll leave a link in the description and pinned first comment if you're interested. It's not sponsored or anything. I just want you guys to be able to have, decent things. I know these grow plants really well, so they're going to work perfect. One thing these lights are doing though is highlighting how dirty the glass is. Now I'm not the sort of person that spends ages cleaning glass before I do a build, because it's going to get dirty anyway when you start doing things, putting sand in dust, soils and things. It just goes everywhere anyway. I will clean the front glass for you, okay? But I always find it easier just after you finish the build and fill it up with water, just scrape it. Scrape it with a razor scraper. It goes more clean than messing about with chemicals and things at this stage. So yeah, I'll just clean the front for you, okay? All right, there we go. I've cleaned the front. So one of the reasons I've pulled this tank out of the woodwork, or racking, so to speak, I don't know why did I say that? Yeah, one of the reasons I got this out again is because I was looking at some of my really, really old videos just out of interest from like nearly 6 years ago. And this was one of the first successful ecosystem tanks I built. Now, for those of you who don't know, I call an ecosystem tank one that mostly looks after itself, because I like setting up tanks that you don't have to do a lot of work to. So this one will definitely be that. There will be a filter, just a tiny little one basically, to push the water around. The main filtration is going to be in the substrate, and that's what we want to put in now. So I've got a couple of components here to use to start with. Basically, this is some recycled sands and gravels and things, stuff I've taken out of other scapes. I always save it because it will come useful for, sort of things I'm going to do now. And then I've got a load of substrate from Tropical, which is basically like soil. Like, that's way too rich to just put in on its own. If you mix it with this, then put it in, and then cap all over the top, you've got a nutrient-rich, otherwise pretty much inert substrate system, because sand and gravel on its own doesn't really contain a lot of nutrients. Now, sand and gravel on its own in an aquarium can work, don't get me wrong. I've actually done it myself a long, long time ago before I sort of knew what I was doing. But it takes ages for the tank to really get started because sand and gravel doesn't have nutrients. So what it does is it grabs the nutrients that comes from the fish waste, you know, plants breaking down when you first put them in and they die off. And, you know, eventually that works its way into the sand and gravel, gets locked down and turns into a food source for the root systems. But that can take like months before it starts looking like really lush. Whereas if you do it this way by adding in some nutrients from the start, you can get growth straight away, and that just makes everything easier. The plants are growing beautiful, way less algae because it's out competing the algae. And yeah, just put some nutrients in to start with for sure. And I'm more than likely going to use all of this sand to build up a back layer. So I'm probably going to use all of this soil as well. I mean, it says on the back how much you should use actually. The reason I'm using this stuff is because it's what I used for the very first one, and I just really wanted to do it all again and just compare to my most recent sort of efforts. Maybe this stuff is really good. I mean, it worked well before. I stopped using it for some reason because I could get hold of the pond soil easier, but I think there's less risk with this, you know, of getting like the wrong amounts and that. So it's going by tank size, but to me that's not really as relevant as how many plants I'm going to have in. So I'm just going to put it all in. Bit of that first. A few bits of this. I'm doing it like in stages just to make sure we get like an even distribution. Yeah, and I'll just keep doing this now until it's sort of all mixed in. There we go, look, I've mixed most of it up and then I've kept some as well, non-mixed with the substrate. And then that can just be used as like an extra cap on top of the decorative one later. And now the way that I want to do this is high corners and then lower in the centre. Just going to chuck it all in to start with. This is also really good because it's creating like a base for rocks to sit on as well, so that I don't break the whole thing. So that's all piled in quite loosely, so we can now sort of shape it exactly how we want it. There's a big rock there, I don't want that in there. Take all of those out, and then get a nice shape going. Remember, this isn't the final height either, because I'm going to be putting the decorative sand on top as well, and a bit of gravel. I always find a little bit of gravel right on the very top helps with filling it up with water. You can just put it straight on the top of it, it doesn't make everything go sort of everywhere. I'm not going to have too many plants in the foreground, but we do want some nutrients for it to be able to creep. So I'm just going to put a thin dusting in this area. You can see by the colour of the water that there's obviously the soil in there because that breaks down quite quickly and the sand doesn't. But we want that, we need the nutrients. Okay, I think that'll work well to start with. So next up, we can pick out our rocks. Now, the reason I use like the sand and gravels and things like that instead of aqua soil is, look, we can pick out the rocks and press them into this now. And once they're sort of pushed in, they're going to stay in place. Now, if I had like aqua soil going in behind it, it's inevitably going to find its way through at some point. Or I'm hoping to put Cory's in here, they'll pull it forwards, and it just stops that. Like this is all going to stay where I placed it. The rocks don't have to be perfectly formed to create no gaps. You can just push them in, and it's going to look great. Right then, I'm sticking with the rocks I used before last time. I'm basically making the same tank. I mean, I loved it so much. Why not? I'm just going to do it better. I'm going to use Cereal stone, hoping to put a few little guppies and that in there as well. They like a sort of slightly higher pH and mineral level, so that'll all work perfectly. And then wood-wise, we've got lots of wood to choose from as well, but you know, we'll get to that when the time comes. Now, shape-wise, I remember last time I didn't overly think this, so I'm going to show you guys how easy this is with just placing a few bits in and kind of winging it. Exactly what I'm going to do. One over here as well, look, slightly out. Bring this forwards a little bit more so we've got some more room behind it. I can hear the glass crunching, but it's okay. A little bit more out here as well. Oh, the other tank lights have gone out for us, which is nice. Continue the build like this. Prop that up a little bit. Now, not all the rocks sort of match completely in that, but who cares? Just chuck them in. That's already looking good. So you see what I mean? It does not matter that there's gaps in between all those rocks, but they're still creating some kind of retaining wall to the eye anyway. All the plants and wood then can just fly up out the top from behind it. We can fill it in with some like decorative gravel and that as well, so it's going to look so good. Now I'm going to go with the more sort of spider wood look for this aquarium. Got this cool piece here, could sit right in there somewhere. Don't want to block the light too much though. So like, you've got nice bits coming out, so it adds like a 3D effect. You've got plenty of spots to put plants in and around as well, some mosses and things. And then another one on this side as well. See, that loops over the rocks there quite nicely and still stands up. I think I'll go with that, because then I've still got loads of room to plant behind, but still giving it a cool look. I think it just needs another bit as well for some more height. You can see there that all the wood's wet. I just took it from another scape that I just broke down, and it had duckweed on it, so I like that. Oh, no, I had it perfect then. Get that to lock like that. Yeah, that works perfectly. So much planting room behind, but it just brings it all forwards and up out the tank. Yep, really like that look. So far we've got 3 bits of wood, 6 pieces of rock, a substrate system. I'm going to glue it all in place now, and then it should be set by the morning, and we can carry on. Right, it's the next day. Everything is tacked down. Like I used super glue. Oh, hang on. Is this going to work? There we go. Yeah, super glue gel. This is, so it forms sort of like blobs of gel rather than being runny. And then you just go around and contact points like that one you can see there on the rock, and just tack it in a few places. Now this wood is rather light, so it only needs a few blobs of it, but if I had bigger pieces that were more liable to floating, then I'd use tissue paper, like toilet paper or something like that, paper towel, and use the liquid form, because that forms a bigger bond. But this is perfect for the amount of wood we've got. You can notice as well in the middle there, I've added another piece. So it just sort of comes across the middle section, bringing the 2 areas together a little bit more of a focal point in the middle as well. So yeah, what we need to do now is cover up all of that soily sand. You know, all that bottom layer there is full of nutrients. We don't want that all going into the water column, it'll just go brown. So cap the whole lot with sand. Just gonna push some of this stuff at the front here back, because we're only going for a thin layer in the foreground. This looks really good in these shallow tanks. And it's what I did before as well, so I know it looks good. But yeah, I'm going to be using pool filter sand. I just think it's the most natural looking, and it goes with everything else as well. But you can use whatever you want, as long as it's a finer sand. If it's too coarse, like a gravel, all of that soil in the back is still going to leach like through, and it'll just make like algae everywhere. Be a massive pain as well. So that's everything capped. And then down here, I've got something for all of our details. So this is just like gravel you can get in your garden centres. It doesn't look that great, like from a normal aquascaping point of view, but it looks so natural because it's all varied in size. I've got another one here with some small pieces in it as well. So far, yeah, we've got our normal sand, we've got our nutrient sand, we've got our capping layer, and now we've got the details. I'm deliberately picking sort of materials here that I know you guys can just either go out and collect or get from your local garden centre, that sort of thing, because there's no point trying to be elitist and showing something that everyone's going to be like, well, I can't get that, so I'm not even going to bother trying. I know what that's like because I used to be there myself. So this is so simple, and you see how I just chucked it in initially, and now I'm just sort of gently pushing it around, filling in the gaps where I want it all. And like I say, this extra gravel layer at the top here is so good for being able to do water changes because it just bounces off the top. It's all looking a little bit ugly at the moment, but you know, give it a minute, give it a minute. And then I've got the final gravel just for a little bit more detail, bumping things up a little bit, getting a bit of height, because I want the plants up the top area here all to come out of the water, like growing immersed. I just think it looks great, especially in a tank like this. Right, looking really good, I think. I'm getting proper like old school memories popping up as I'm doing this, which is really cool. I'm going to fill up with water because I just like planting into water. You can just see how the plants are already sitting. You don't have to worry about anything flopping over or anything when you fill it up. And we can get a filter going as well. Right, nicely filled up. I mean, that is clearer than I thought it was going to be, I've got to be honest with you. And you notice the water level, I've kept it to here because I want to put Corys in, and Corys like to dart to the surface. They don't jump the water really, they just pop their heads over the top of it. So that's plenty of a gap. plenty of a gap. Does that make sense? You know what I mean. So filter-wise, I've got this little nugget here. Now, lots of people might say, that's not a big enough filter for this volume of water, but it's not doing any real filtration. A little bit of mechanical, but it's more just to push the water around, really. This whole thick substrate system is what is going to give us our biological filtration, for sure, plus the plants. The filter itself is just for pushing water. That's what I view it as. And I'm hoping it's just going to slot nicely in this little gap here. Might need to push some of the gravel down. But yeah, that does actually work really well. And the little spray bar at the top is just going to shoot all the water that way. Perfect. I actually just had a thought, why am I putting the whole thing upright when I can just put it sideways and then it can be hidden by plants that are planted in front of it? So yeah, I've done that. Kind of dusted the water up a bit, but it's going to get dusty now anyway because I now want to put the plants in. And I am fortunate to have a lot of immersed plants already available to put at the top, but also, you know, down into the gravel and sand as well. I got some nice Amazon swords there back in one of my little greenhouse tanks. So what I do is when I take delivery, I just put a little bit of water in the bottom, just sit them in there. They've got a light over them. They're kept humid. They just keep growing and look great. So I'm going to use this one, the Hygrophila siamensis. We've got some different Ludwigias as well. Polysperma we've got. Yeah, loads of really cool plants. So let's get planting. Okay, that is looking awesome. Look at that, even above and below. I might even hang another light above here just because the whole area is a little bit darker, like, you know, in the surrounding areas for the plants that are growing out, and they're just going to grow towards the light. Some of them will dry up slightly to start with, but if it gets really bad, you just snip it near the water line and new shoots come out that are already converted. But even underneath, look, love that. It's just like some sort of riverbank, isn't it? Right, time for some mid-ground plants now, just right by the rocks. There we go, look, I've added the light in, look, above, just to light the whole area in the back wall, because I think it just makes the whole thing look amazing, doesn't it? Now, I added in a couple of extra plants as well. I put some limnophila in there. I've got some rotalas dotted about as well. Not many, just for a little bit of detail as you look through it all. But you don't need to do that. You can just keep snipping off plants and replant them if you don't want to buy extra. But if you do want to buy extra, by all means do, the more the better. I've also got this amazing Mariophyllum here, which is growing out the top of one of my other tanks. So I just snipped it and placed it in the back area. Roots trailing. Look at those red roots. Looks amazing, doesn't it? So yeah, now it's just a case of letting it clear up. I'm going to put some AquaClear in it, get it cleared up, and then I can put some fish in. Obviously using beneficial bacteria and testing daily. So here we are a few days later. The tank is looking really clear. I'm very happy with it. Kate likes it as well. But we can go and get some fish for it now. I've been around and collected up a load of floating plants that I can swap. So yeah, in this bag here, I've got loads and loads of mini water lettuce. And this one's packed full of red root floaters as well. So get down to Maidenhead Aquatics Taunton if you want to get some of my plants. They're all in great condition. There may be the odd snail in each one, but that's okay. Snails are good. We love snails. Well, not everyone does, but I do anyway. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello.
I come bearing gifts.
Thank you very much.
Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
I'm looking to do a swap if I can.
You may.
I've just done a little shallow tank and I want some Corys for it.
Okay.
But like a group of 5 of like 3 types if possible.
Okay.
We've got pandas.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Where the pandas at?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yes, we have.
We do?
We do.
Yes. Or do I go just like all of them?
Pandas.
Yeah, the pandas are great.
Do you
What
like
else have we got?
pandas? What else do we have? What else do we have?
Oh, hang on. Are these the Adolphi? Oh no, Rusty.
The Rusties.
Rusties.
Lightning McQueen here, and I use Rusty's medicated bump ointment.
Oh, we just got your regular bronze, which I like.
Bronze.
I do like a bronze.
You get lots of freedom from a bronze.
That's true.
You got Agazizis.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They're cool.
We've got options.
We've got options. We haven't got as many options as we normally have.
How come? Expecting
I don't
delivery?
know. Not necessarily. Yes, we have got delivery this week actually.
Oh, look at these fluffers.
Oh yeah, they're snowball fleckles, aren't they?
Snow white.
Snow White.
Yes.
Oh yeah, maybe
Oh, they're cool, aren't they?
maybe a couple of those.
We got black Corys.
Oh yeah.
Smudge spots are lovely.
Oh yeah, I love the
I do
smudges.
love the smudge. They're cute.
Okay, I reckon a group of the 5 pandas, a group of the 5 smudge, and then a group of the 5 bronze. And like you say, we can get like some breeding and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Oh, sweet.
I get some nets and bags.
Black.
You've not seen black ones before?
Oh, you haven't got any in your tanks, have you?
I don't think I do.
No.
There's bronze and black there,
Got
isn't there?
the
Or-
ones in the,
Oh, no,
in
they
the
ju-
rainbow fish tank. They've got a big black stripe across their back.
Yeah, that's the skunks. They're skunks.
Yeah.
Skunks.
They're quite
Yeah.
big, aren't they? Yeah, they're massive.
Yeah. Yeah, they're much bigger. We're just looking for the smaller species because it's a smaller tank.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be cool to see the different varieties. So yeah, 5 of each,
That's
please,
fine.
Cheryl.
I will go and grab some
Cheers.
bags.
Oh my goodness, I've just spotted the gold lasers. I think 5 of those for sure, actually. If there is 5, if not, I'm just going to take those free. They are amazing, absolutely amazing, Cory. Probably one of the best. I mean, look at them, very flashy. And then next door, look, we've got elegant Corys. Oh my goodness, there's so much choice. Now I'm just going to make a selection, then we'll see when we get back to the studio. Oh, there's pygmies as well, Kate. Pygmies, you'll like these. You'll like these. Kate's just shouted to me, look at these plecos, they're so cool. Oh yeah, they are cool.
Look how cool. Look at this one.
Snowball. So these are the sort of
my
things
gosh.
that I'm looking to get for a pleco tank. After Dave's been, we're going to break down the tank and do something cool. Yeah, they're very, very cool.
They're so cool.
Not currently for sale, but we'll see
that's
about that. Yeah, I'll get them to pause it for me. The ones that I really want though are the arabesques. Are they? These ones, look. Oh yeah, no, there they are. Yeah, they're arabesques. Look,
Yeah.
no, they've moved them around. They were there. So those are tigers, which we just put in the
Looks like you've
the
got
big
them, haven't you?
one. No, I haven't got them. And we got any of them. These are the ones. These are the ones I want for sure.
They're nice then, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the size of that Cory in there. This baby's gone on the back now.
What is
Look at
it?
these Corys.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're a bit
Araguai.
bigger though, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, Cheryl,
Yeah.
I've changed my mind.
I thought you would. What have you seen?
The gold lasers
Yeah.
and there's pygmies.
There's pygmies.
The
There's little
pygmies
Corys.
will be perfect for the smaller tank as well as some of the others.
It's in the
Okay.
little Corys.
Yeah. Kate, you haven't seen them, have you? The pygmies.
But have you seen the little Corys? They actually
Oh.
look like
Oh, they're called little Corys.
they're called little Corys.
Yeah, yeah, I've had a few before actually. They didn't do too well, but I don't know why. But I know that the pygmies have done very well for me before.
Pygmies.
I think I'll
They
go
don't
with.
really look like.
They
Corys.
look more like Ottos there,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
do.
not. Oh, they've got some nice ones here. Really nice colours on them. This is the Pantanal, Cory. So that, no, I know it's Pantanal. Cheryl goes,
Behave.
Cheryl goes, you better
Behave.
say that on camera. That would be hilarious. Cheryl's just informed me
Would say
that
there's-
the numbers have been spoiled. There's only 4 of the lasers. So people are going to go nuts. I'm glad you said that though, because I'd be like, where's the 5th laser gone?
Exactly. And then you'd be cursing me on your video.
No, he wouldn't.
You would.
Quick little update on the 8-foot. Martin's not here today, he's actually on holiday, but everything's looking really, really nice. I can see the catfish buried still in the sand where we first left them. Can't see any of the earth eaters at the moment, but my eyes are terrible. Oh, there we go, there's one. Haha. That's the demon earth eater there. But that was the point really, is that like not everything's going to be all out in the open all the time. So that's why we went for like multiple different species. So at any given time you might see some, like the catfish. Can't see any of the hognose. Where's the hognose? keep my eye out, but yeah, I'm not seeing them at the moment. They'll probably be like balled up in a little huddle somewhere at the back or something. Oh, I can see another one of the earth eaters right at the back there. Getting a little bit of glare here. There's a pleco, is there? Kate's found the plec. Yes. So that's one of the tigers. Found a little gap down there. It's definitely not stuck because it can get out of there. Yeah, we've got the angels. I'm just trying to find the hognose catfish. Yeah, that's the earth eaters, which at the moment are still quite small. They're going to get way bigger than that. You won't be able to not see them later on. Where's the hognose? Come on, guys. I feel like they would be back there. Yeah, anyway, you can see everything's looking great. Oh, no, there he is. Yeah, that's the hognose. Good spot, Kate. Going to be really hard to pick it out, but just behind that tetra, it's just sort of sat in the rock in the shade. Yeah. Okay, so they're obviously huddled in and amongst all of the wood and that sort of thing, but yeah, doing well. So we've got the fish. I'm just going to switch off the main lights, just so they don't get like the brightness. Oh, hang on, what am I pressing? Oh, wrong button. There we go. So it's not blasting right on them. Still got the ambient light though, so that's fine. Float these in the top. Oh, there's the gold lasers. They look so good. The water might overflow. Nah, it should be okay. There's not that much water in each bag. Plenty for the, you know, the amount in there, but oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm not only putting Cory's in here though. I've got a feature fish, which was in this area before. I want to go back and, oh yes, lots of pandas. We got lots more pandas. Okay, the Cory's have been in here long enough. I've just switched the light on. The gold lasers there, doing laps, but they're not too distressed. I've got 4 of those. Then I've got 5 of the smudged Cory's. And then there's, what's that, about 10 of the pandas, which are all chilled. So I'm gonna release them into the tank now. And obviously this tank's got nothing else in it, and I trust all the water from my local fish shop. If you don't, then don't do what I'm about to do, but I'm just gonna cut the bags and release them in. I know that they medicate their water regularly and things like that, so you know there's no problem with me doing that. If you don't trust your shop, then don't do it. But yeah, this will be absolutely fine for these. Let's put them in. Right, let's go gold lasers first. Oh yes, once that light gets on them, look at that. Oh, they look brilliant. And then I'm gonna put the smudges in. Had smudged Cory's before actually, I had quite a few. Really, really nice fish. They school really well. Well, all Cory's school. And it'll be interesting to see if they stay with their sort of specific species or if they all sort of mingle together. And then last but not least, we've got the pandas. So pandas are like the second Cory I ever got. First was, you know, your normal bronze Cory, and then I saw the pandas and I got them for this tank actually when I first, you know, built it the first time. Oh, awesome. So all the Cory's are in. The first thing they tend to do is all huddle together. Look, there you go, look. That's all the pandas and a smudge. Now they just stay still for a while they get comfortable with their surroundings. So if you put your fish in and they just do this, don't panic. Give them a little bit of time and they'll be golden. And it's also worth noting, because I forgot to show, I tested the water before I put them in. I always do in a new tank, give the water a test because something might have leached through unexpectedly. It's very rare that happens to me now, but on occasions there could have been something in the substrate. You know, I've recycled it, it could have leached through. Not likely, but still, we don't know unless we test, so always test before new fish go in. But yeah, everything come back absolutely perfect, so I was completely happy to put the fish in. Now the filter has currently not got any beneficial bacteria, neither has the substrate. It might have a little bit because it's been recycled, but it's not been in a tank for a long time. But what we can do is add beneficial bacteria now. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix some quick start in. For this size tank, I'm gonna need 2 capfuls and a little bit for luck. And what that's gonna do is gonna seed the whole tank, not only the filter sponges, but also the whole of the substrate as well. And any surface, like the rocks, the plants, the wood, every surface is covered in beneficial bacteria. But I'll still be testing the water though. I'll test this water for about a week, every day when I come in, just to make sure there's no spikes in anything at all. I'm looking out for nitrite and ammonia. If I see any rises in that at all, I'll do a water change. Bring it right down, lift it right back up again with dechlorinated tap water. Now I shouldn't really see any rises at all, just purely from the amount of plants we've got in there. And it's a pretty low bioload considering that many plants. But it can still happen. You've got to be vigilant, you've got to test, and you've got to react if needed. Oh, this is great. I've just turned around from my desk area and all the Cory's are lined up. It's like a Cory army. Obviously they feel safe in their numbers at this stage because they're just so fresh in. They're going to stay a little bit weird like this for the rest of today, I reckon. But by tomorrow, they should be swimming all over the tank. Right, it's the next day, and the Corys, most of them are all at the front still. They're doing really well. I've tested the water already again. Absolutely perfect, which means we can now add in the feature fish. And here he is over here. Hang on, let the lighting adjust. Hello, buddy. Got a new tank for you. This was just his sort of temporary one, but absolutely stunning Betta. He's being shaded a little bit there by the floating plants, which I'll probably add, actually. I think I'll put some floating plants into the other tank as well, just to keep that sort of realism going. But I've had this Betta for quite a while now. He's pretty old, actually, but he still looks really, really good. Fins are all solid and that, and great coloration, but he's a very chill fella, very friendly. And he'll be absolutely fine with the Corys as well. Won't see them as a threat. So yeah, let's get him in. Okay, I've got our little cherub bum. Time to put him in. There we go. Loves it. Corys are cool. He's not going to be interested. He's still looking at me. He's like, you just picked me up and you didn't feed me. His temperatures all match, by the way, because I heat the room, not the individual tanks. And I've made a mess there. There we go, look. Chilling out in the corner. Loving the Corys already. I'm just going to add a few little floating plants in. This is mini water lettuce. They sort of get entangled with all the other plants, but that's cool. It creates like a nice little canopy and an area for them all to sort of grow through, and locks them so they point upwards rather than just spreading over the surface as well. Just put them in, they'll go where they want. These guys are all just balled up in the corner. The Betta has just gone and sat underneath the filter at the moment, but it'll get comfortable and it'll come out in no time. It is now the next day, and as you can see in the centre there, our Betta is very comfortable in the tank. Sometimes he likes to come up here and just sort of swim in the flow, and then he can drop down if he wants to as well into like the more calmer areas, shall we say. The good thing is that filter outlet is hitting big leaves and parts of the hardscape, which means it's just a gentle flow in that top section, which is perfect because Betta fish, they don't really like tons and tons of flow. I mean, the short fin ones like this one here is not too much of a problem. The long fin ones can get blown all over the tank though, but you know, they'll decide if they do or don't want to go in the flow, and clearly he's enjoying it there. The Corys still seem to be really loving this area, and it's great. They're obviously feeling comfortable because this is right next to my desk, and they're all still chilling out right in the foreground. They could easily go into the back sections and just hide, but yeah, seem really comfortable. Now, I have heard in some places people saying that you can't have gravel with Corys because it damages their bulbs. But if you look at the natural habitat of where they're from, there's a complete mixture of like sands and gravels and things like that. It's all pretty rounded though, like you can see here. Even the gravel's rounded edges, and then the sand is obviously really soft as well, so they can choose where they want to go and sift. The only thing I'd say that would be, you know, especially damaging to their bulbs would be like sharp pieces of gravel, which don't tend to really get in the aquarium hobby, do we? But if you do have some of that, maybe some slates or something, then maybe don't put that in. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this tank and how it's turned out. It's looking really, really natural. It's not quite what I'd call an aquascape, really. I suppose it is, but it's more like a planted tank. I'm just trying to take a snapshot of like the embankment of the river, and I think that's turned out pretty well. You know, there's something about a shallow tank and just some Cory swimming around like this that's really, really enjoyable. And what they tend to do is go and find an area, rest for a little bit, and then just scoot across to the other area as well. It's like really fun to watch. Hello, buddy. You're loving it as well, aren't you? And it's actually been about 5 days since the initial setup, and as you can see, the plants that are coming out the top of the water here are already growing really well in like an immersed style. We have got a little bit of biofilm on the surface, to be expected in a brand new setup. That will clear in time with a few water changes and that kind of thing. I've not done any water changes yet because I've tested the water and it's been fine, but I'll probably do one soon. I always like to do a couple when you first set up the tank, and then I just go by what the readings are telling me after that, or if I'm looking at the plants thinking it needs freshening up, bit of tannins in the water from the wood or something like that, then I'll do another water change. I don't do it religiously, you know, like on a specific day, but I just do it by when it's needed. I'm not one of these people that's like, you don't have to do water changes. I mean, you do have to if they are required. And your water parameters after some testing, the look of the tank, the behaviour of the fish, that's going to be able to tell you what you need to do, if you need to do it or not. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'll now leave you some nice shots of the tank.